everyone for taking some time to join us today. My name is Mike Williamson. I am the channel sales manager for Drivve. I also have Elizabeth Pritchard on here as well, so some of you may have spoken with her before. She works with a lot of our resellers to provide information about what our solutions can do for them. But today, just plan to give you a little bit of background information on Drivve, some of the things that make us unique, and particularly as that relates to the legal market. Afterwards, we should have a recording that we can send out to everybody. And if you have questions at the end, be happy to answer those for you. A little background on Drivve. We have been in business since 1995 and are headquartered here in Austin, Texas. We have a number of customers all over the world, as well as operations and distributions around the world, and I have won a number of awards as well for our solutions. One of the things that really makes Drivve unique in the marketplace is that we do have a full ecosystem of solutions. So we'll be talking through those today, obviously as they relate to the legal market, but in general, in the MFP industry, you see a lot of software companies where maybe they'll have one very specific functionality that they perform, like they do cost accounting, or maybe they just do some kind of scanning, or maybe they just have a document management system. We actually do all of those things. So these products can be used very well in conjunction with one another. They can also be used independently. Most of our products, Drivve Image and Drivve Print, are modular, so you can just try to achieve a very specific functionality. So that we often have people that may just use us for base stamping, for example, within the legal market. But there is a whole breadth of things that we can offer. So very horizontal applications, that could be a line of business application, such as HR or customer service, or within various industries. But we do have a wide variety of customers. It's also a fully scalable solutions. Everything that we have could, be serving hundreds of locations, or it could be a small mom and pop shop with maybe about 10 employees. So some of the challenges that are unique to the legal market, one of the main ones being that, because the attorneys are charging for their time, they're also wanting to charge back any costs that they incur specific to their customers, any copies, scans, faxes, ensuring those are being charged back to the appropriate case. Document security is obviously a very big issue within with client confidentiality issues. There are tremendous amounts of paper, particularly with litigation, but any of the contract law as well. So there are significant advantages being able to scan that paper and manage that electronically. There are a lot of different applications which are specific to the legal industry, such as WorldDocs, and being able to have an on-ramp into those applications and have a way that when you are scanning those documents to get those into those back-end systems. And of course, the risks of having lost documents is very high. That could lose you a case. It could cost you a significant amount of money. There is a lot of regulation, kind of tied to some of the confidentiality, similar to the confidentiality issues that you have within the legal industry. And as we mentioned, base stamping, which is probably the most popular application that we see our resellers using Drivve for. And we've had a really some glowing reviews on our base stamping functionality within Drivve Image, and we'll kind of dive into that with a little more detail here in a bit. So just by using some automated capture, there's significant benefits that could be derived for that. So you could just be storing these documents within a file server. You wouldn't even need to have a document management system per se, but we could allow them to do batch scanning, either by separating documents with a barcode or with a blank page. We can help with back file conversions by allowing them to have some context on how those documents are named and controls, so that there's a consistent naming process and you're able to find those documents after you've stored those into a file server or document management system. Image cleanup to ensure that those are pristine images that are usable. Everyone's heard the term electronic discovery. There are times when they'll need to search a number of emails that perhaps have been printed out, and validate those for different keyword searches, or just being able to do keyword searches within a file server or document management system, which you can do by scanning those documents in as searchable PDFs. We can do encrypted PDFs as well, which can help again from a security standpoint. And we do have a plugin into World Docs. So anyone that you run into is using World Docs, we do actually have a direct connector into there, in addition to being able to just take metadata that we might have for those images and put that as part of a file name or a CSV file or a XML file that could be swept up by a hot folder and ingested to a backend system. So a little more on bait stamping. So this is going to be something that any law firm that is doing court law is going to need. Sometimes accounting firms and there may be some things that are outside of the court they would use bait stamping for, but it's a way to put an identifier on each page so that you can associate a group of documents and have a page numbering system with a prefix and a suffix that's specific to those set of documents. So historically, there would be literally a stamp that they would stamp every single page on, and it would rotate to the next page number every time they hit that stamp. Obviously, it's kind of a cumbersome process. It's not always going to come out totally clear, and it's very manual and time consuming. Today, they're probably more likely either using stickers, or they may have an application such as something in Adobe. So they might scan a document, mail it to themselves, and then run it into Adobe to put this electronic stamp on it. But again, it's just a manual process. It's a secondary step, and quite frankly, it's unnecessary because they can do that at the same time they're scanning the documents right from the MFP. So they could still email that to themselves. They could email it out to someone else, or they could just go ahead and save that into a back-end system, or be in a file server, or again, any line of business application or document management system that they're using. Another nice feature of our bait stamp, so you can customize the prefix and suffix of that. You could actually have the user information who is doing the scanning be part of the bait stamp for kind of an auditing type purpose. But it will remember the page numbers that it's on specific to that case. So if you're choosing a specific case, you ended on page number 50, it would know to start for page number 51 when you went back into that case. And you would have the ability to customize exactly where that is on the page as well, directly from the MFP. You also have the ability to modify different colors and fonts for those annotations. And you could put in an image as well. So if it wasn't just a prefix or suffix, you could actually paste in an image as part of that bait stamp. So some other functionality that's actually a little bit newer for Drivve is we have the ability to do a continuous single sign-on between our applications. So if you're using Drivve Image in conjunction with Drivve Print, we can work with an existing proxy card or a 4-digit PIN code, and you would be able to log in to the device as that user. So now you're able to do everything as that user, in terms of sending emails from the device, in terms of being able to browse through folder structure within World Docs or within a file server. You'd only see the folder structure that were specific to that user, and you could have customized scan profiles. Also from the device, you'd be able to select specific cases or matter numbers, however you want to have that set up, to charge back clients for any billing, copying, scanning, faxing that's done for their case. When you authenticate at the device, you could also be utilizing poll printing, also referred to as follow me printing. But any of the jobs that have then been submitted to the Drivve Print server, you can log in to any licensed device, see the jobs that are specific to you. So poll printing applications are popular because they can be a cost-saving measure, but it's also a way for confidentiality. So you don't have any sensitive information. It's just sitting on the device. That those documents are waiting until you release them to be printed. And as I mentioned, if you're authenticating at the device, utilizing a security badge or a 4-digit short code, you can now have personalized scanning profiles as well. So one example that is specific to the legal industry, oftentimes they want to use a matter number to look up a case, find out who the client is, and select document types so that that level of indexing is done for you right at the device. You don't have to do that within your backend system, saving you time on the back end. And whenever we're entering a matter number, we could actually do a database call to their backend legal system to pull over other information. We can actually make a database call to any ODBC compliant database, which is going to encompass over 95% of the databases that you should encounter. But again, specific to the legal industry, here we've made a search for a matter number. I can see the various results that I've gotten back from my query, select the matter number that's most appropriate for me, or appropriate for these documents. And I'm also now getting the client ID and the last name associated with that case. I'm also, as part of this application, selecting the document type. So again, this can be set up however you want. This is fully customizable. You don't have to have, if there's only one selection that the end user needs to make, and the other ones can automatically be made for them in the background. Or you could have them making 10 selections if they wanted to. It's fully customizable. But here we've just entered the one data value for the matter number, pulled over the client information and the last name, and selected the document type. It's showing us all of this so you can validate that before you scan the document, so you have a quality assurance measure there. And now for this example, we're showing how this would be created within a file server. So it was putting that into the legal folder that used the client number that we had pulled over from the database that we found by using the matter number. And then you could see on the right here, we had chosen a document type of the motion document. So it went ahead and named it motion and then used today's date. Other information such as who the user was that scanned it, or any information that we had either input at the device, pulled from a zonal OCR, read for a barcode, or pulled over from a different system using the database connection, that can all be used to however you want to use that information. It could be to name the document, it could be to create a folder or a subfolder. Again, that's fully customizable based on how your client would like to see that information organized. So another option that you would have within Drivve would be to sell them a document management system. So if they are using a file server today, but perhaps they would like to have more security in their system, maybe they want to have version control, if particularly if they were doing some kind of contract negotiation or contract management. That's often you want to be able to go back and reference an older version of that document. Anyone that's interested in utilizing a workflow, that is something that they would need to get from a document management system as opposed to a file server. There's also extended searching capabilities. So if you are saving documents as a searchable PDF, you would have the ability to do full text searches from within a file server, but that's kind of where your searching abilities are going to end. You'll be able to see the scan end date and do the full text search. The full text search isn't going to be 100% accurate, and it may still yield a number of results that you then have to go through and look through those documents. With a document management system such as Drivve, we have a very sophisticated filtering system so that you can use these filters to narrow down exactly what you're looking for, and you could save any of these results too. So if you regularly want to use a number of different filters and do that search, you can go ahead and have that saved as one of your searches, and it'd just be there for you at the click of a button. We do have apps for this application as well. So there's an app for the iPhone as well as for the iPad. Those would work with any of our cloud installations of Drivve. We also do offer Drivve available on-premise. So then it would be residing on your servers, and the customer would be responsible for backing that up. And they would have full control of the data. Others prefer to have the convenience of the cloud where they can just access that through the internet. But either way, you would be able to access the system through the web. There's no applets that you have to download or anything. It's just a browser-based document management system. And for those who are interested, it is an object-oriented database as well, which means that we can store any document type and it's fully scalable. So we've kind of talked through some on the scanning side and the capture side, where we're able to base stamp these documents, organize those for the end user, and have a variety of options, whether they're scanning that into a file server or they need a more sophisticated system and want to put that into a document management system. We can also allow them, as we mentioned, to go ahead and charge back the clients for any of those scans they're doing. So there's just a screenshot of our reporting functionality within Drivve Print. And again, with the continuous single sign-on, there's a lot of advantages there, such as being able to email from the device and have those emails show up in your sent items the same way that they would if you had sent it from your desktop. We do now have a connector again into World Docs. So if you run into anyone who is scanning in the World Docs, they would be able to scan into that system directly from the MFP and have any associated metadata that you have input related to that document passed on to World Docs. And the single sign-on would work with logging into World Docs as well, in terms of being able to browse that folder structure as that user and seeing only the folders that that individual has permission to see. So you couldn't accidentally scan that into a folder and then later realize that you can't find your document because you scanned it into a folder you don't have permission to see. If there are any other questions, you're more than welcome to go to our website at drivve.com and see if anybody has any questions typed out here. So feel free to ask anything at this time. Well, I'm not seeing any questions here, but again, I wanted to thank everybody for your time today. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any specific questions or you need help with any particular deals, or my information. My phone number is 630-886-4087, or you can also email me at mike.williamson@drivve.com. Thanks so much. I appreciate your time.